Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Drunken Gamer News, where we discuss recent happenings in the video game industry. I'm your host Mike. We got a good show for you today. I got a bottle of Newcastle Brown Ale. Seriously, one fine beer. If you have not tried this stuff already, you are seriously missing the fuck out. Get on this. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now, I kind of want to start things off on a bit of a serious note this time. As you guys may have heard, Boston was dealt a severe blow from the result of a bombing incident that occurred during a marathon run that was going on earlier this week. There was two bombs that went out near the finish line of the course, just destroying anything that was in close proximity. Buildings were wrecked, glass windows shattered. People were seriously wounded with severed limbs flying all over the place, apparently. Like, the amount of destruction that was left as a result of those two bombs going off, if you've seen some of the footage, is pretty terrifying. I mean, there was one image I saw going around of a guy being carted around in a wheelchair with one of his legs completely blown apart just below the knee, being rushed for medical attention, and it's just shocking some of the stuff that's come out from this. But the thing that actually helps to improve my outlook on humanity out of all this is the fact that the people that were present were actually running towards the chaos to help those in need, and not just like one or two people, but droves of them actually putting themselves at risk, running over to help the injured, the wounded, those who couldn't get up on their own, and getting them the medical attention that they need. And there have even been reports, and this is true, that some of the runners actually ran an extra 2 miles to find a place where they could go donate blood. Where they could donate blood. That is just a huge amount of dedication, and it just shows how much people in Boston work to take care of their own. I know the rest of America tends to give Boston a bit of flack for various things. I mean, their baseball team used to have one of the worst records in franchise history, but seeing these people work so hard to take care of each other during a time of confusion, chaos, and uncertainty is just really touching. And I strongly encourage people, if you can, donate blood to your nearest hospital if you can. If you're in the area, ask how you can help out. There are pictures of a couple suspects that have been released to the public. Check those out. We don't know if those are the people that we're looking for, but if you know the people if you know anything, saw any suspicious activity that was going on, then please alert your local authorities and get a hold of them. And as for the people of Boston, know here that we at the Drunken Gamer salute you guys for sticking it out through the worst. This one's for you. Sorry about that little aside there. I mean, I know it's not video game related at all, but it's really something that just bears mentioning. And I hope I didn't scare the 5 people that actually watched this away with that little bit of off-topic discussion. Okay, serious time over now. Let's get right back down to the lighter side of the business. Let's start things off with a segment that I would like to call the Badass Gamer of the Week. Actual logo pending. There's actually 2 people I want to bring up for this segment. The first person I want to kind of mention on this is Uriah Hall. I think I'm saying that name right. I am not really sure. Hall was a contestant on the reality show Ultimate Fighter. Well, former contestant, as he ended up losing in the final match against Kelvin Gastelum. What was noteworthy about Hall's approach, however, is where he kind of got some of his moves from. Not necessarily from other martial arts or something, but he actually got a lot of his moves by studying the fighting game Tekken. So what Hall did was that he studied some of the moves. He just went into training mode and would study, spar the AI, and would look at the moves that each of the characters would do. Because a lot of the attacks from Tekken that the characters use are based on actual real-life martial arts. So what Hall would do is that he would just spar against the AI in training mode, and then if he saw like a move that he thought was interesting, he would add that into his repertoire, and apparently he would just pick things up really quickly. And apparently once he got into the UFC ring, it will just kind of translate from there after he learned how to apply those moves. Of course, like every other fighting game, you can't really just pick up a new move and then use it whenever you want without having some kind of plan. And the moment someone sees that huge hole in your defenses, well, that's kind of all she wrote. But it's still interesting to note how video games can still kind of be used for study material in different ways. I mean, we've already seen Portal being used in classrooms, so to kind of teach children about puzzles and all that, working the brain. So this is really just kind of another example of how video games can be used to actually teach things. Of course, getting that idea by Congress is probably going to be a lot harder than it is. However, as interesting as this Hall's achievements are relating to video games, the person I really want to highlight for this is a different kind of Hall, Dean Rocket Hall, who is a member of the development team behind the Daisy mod for Arma 2, who are also working on a standalone version for future release. Now, this Hall, earlier this week, posted a devlog update for the standalone version from the base of Mount Everest, 5,400 meters from ground level, and is planning on making the huge descent up, a trek that will take 2 months to complete, taking into account training, and which Hall is currently working on in order to make the climb. Now, this trek up Mount Everest is considered one of the most dangerous climbs in the world, with a rate of 4.3 fatalities for every 100 climbers. Climbing this mountain is no joke. Still, Dean Hall has gone on record saying that the trek was his lifelong dream, and he's already plopped down over a non-refundable $100,000 for the trip. So clearly, he's in it for the long run, and he's working hard, he's enjoying himself, he's posting pictures of his progress on his Tumblr. He's just really putting his all into this, and we're looking forward to seeing him conquer that mountain. And that's why Dean Rocket Hall is our badass gamer of the week. Here's to you, you crazy son of a bitch. Really hope I'm not gonna be giving a eulogy to that guy next time I hear from him. Moving on to other topics. Nintendo had their 3DS-centric Nintendo Direct video the other day, revealing some of their plans for the handheld. Aside from the Mario spamming that seems to have become Nintendo's strategy these days, such as reveals of Game & Wario, Mario and Donkey Kong Minis, and some more titles starring Luigi, which is a slight bit of variety. However, there are some more notable tidbits to take from the 30-minute presentation. For example, the announcement that Western fans are finally getting Earthbound on the Virtual Console for the Wii U. The Japanese version had been available for some time now, so fans of the acid trippy sci-fi thingy RPG will no doubt be happy for this. But of even bigger note was the announcement that there will be a new 3DS Zelda game, this one serving as a sequel to the hit SNES title A Link to the Past. The game is advertised as having new dungeons, a brand new storyline, and mechanics that take advantage of the 3D effect from the handheld.
Shut up and take my money!
Now, obviously this is just huge, as A Link to the Past is considered by many one of the most one of the best Zelda games that ever been made, right next to Ocarina of Time for the N64. So this kind of announcement is just huge. It's just, I think all the Nintendo fanboys out there just kind of wet themselves when they first heard of this. Now, obviously the 3DS is probably in the best position it's ever been since it was released a couple years ago. Remember when it was struggling at launch? Yeah, that happened. But what about the Wii U? I mean, it's still struggling a fair amount, and the most Nintendo had to say regarding this one was a confirmation of Pikmin 3 that's going to be available this summer, and maybe some more updates to make the system function better. Still, all of this 3DS stuff is making the handheld look just fucking great. I mean, Nintendo's finally starting to get some third-party support. They've got Shin Megami Tensei 4, which I am hyped for, a new Professor Layton, and just a bunch of more stuff for it. It'd just be nice for the Wii U to get some of that love while it's still, relevant, I mean, we got the PS4 on the way, got Durango from Microsoft that's gonna be revealed next month, supposedly revealed next month, I should say. So Nintendo really needs to step up their game if they want to keep the Wii U in the spot in people's attention. I mean, I know competition isn't really part of the strategy, but they really need to make the Wii U stand out more, considering it's been kind of the attention it's been getting has been kind of declining a bit. It's just something that they really need to step up on. I mean, it's good that they're getting attention to the 3DS, but you gotta be able to get some love for your other console as well. Just kind of a bit of a personal rant there. That about does it for this week. Remember to like this video if you enjoyed the show, hit the subscribe button for more, and like the Facebook page to stay up to date with new episodes and trailers are up. Until next time, this is Mike, and I'm enjoying my fucking new castle.